ओके बेटा, ये 100 से अगर ज़्यादा बच्चे नहीं आ सकते तो मेरे लिए तो बार बार लेक्चर देना मुश्किल होगा। मैं रिकॉर्डिंग पे रख रही हूँ अपना लेक्चर। ये रिकॉर्डिंग में तमाम ग्रुप्स में आप फॉरवर्ड करवा दीजिएगा। इसलिए मैं दोबारा, क्या लिखा रहा है? अच्छा बेटा, मैं आपके क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स देती हूँ अभी। मैं बार बार डिस्टर्बेंस हो रही थी, मैं दोबारा लेक्चर अपना स्टार्ट करती हूँ। और ये लेक्चर रिकॉर्डिंग पर है। जिन स्टूडेंट्स को 100 से ज़्यादा जा रहे हैं वो नहीं इस वक्त ज्वाइन कर सकते, वो रिकॉर्डिंग ले सकते हैं मेरी। तो इसका भी कोई करेंगे हम मामला। ओके, आई एम स्टार्टिंग द लेक्चर अगेन. So, nutrition in bacteria is a topic which is included in your reduced syllabus. As you know, the way of getting food, nutrients is called as nutrition. So, broadly, bacteria are classified into two groups on the basis of nutrition. That is, they can be heterotrophs and they can be autotrophs. Most of the bacteria are heterotrophs, while some are autotrophs. And you know the difference between heterotroph organisms which cannot make their own food from simple inorganic material, while autotrophs are the ones which can make their food from simple inorganic material. So we will classify the heterotroph and autotroph further. As you will see in the flow chart, that heterotrophic bacteria are further classified into three groups. That is, they can be saprotrophs, they can be symbiotic bacteria, they can be parasitic, while in autotrophs you will find that bacteria are classified into two categories: photosynthetic bacteria and chemosynthetic bacteria. So let's start, students, about heterotrophic bacteria first. You will find that in heterotrophic, the first category is saprotrophic. We are not calling it saprophytic because bacteria are not included in kingdom Plantae. They have their own kingdom, and therefore previously they were called saprophytic. Now we use the term saprotrophic. Okay, so saprotrophic bacteria are commonly also called as decomposers. And you know the role of decomposers, that they are the ones which recycles the material between the living and non-living part of the ecosystem. Bacteria and fungi, they are the decomposers of the ecosystem. So this is a very important mode of nutrition of the bacteria. So these bacteria are unable to make their own food. So they take it from dead organic matter, and the dead organic matter is present in the form of humus, which is a partially decomposed organic matter, and they further convert it into simple inorganic substances. They decompose it with the help of enzymes. As you know, the definition of digestion is not complete unless and until we use the word with the help of enzymes, the conversion of larger complex molecules into simpler ones with the help of enzymes. They do this thing, and then they get energy, they get food through this process. जी क्या जी अभी तक नहीं हुआ जी। वर्दा, क्या हुआ बेटा?
मिस कुछ भी नहीं,
ये हाथ मुसलसल उठे हुए आ रहे हैं
ओ
क्वेश्चन।
सॉरी, वो शायद गलती से हो गया था, सॉरी
हाँ,
मिस।
चलें, अच्छा ठीक है, सही। Okay, we were on humus, and that is the humus, as I told you, is present in the soil as partially decomposed dead organic matter, because bacteria are not the only ones which are decomposers. Fungi are also there, and they are fungi are best decomposers. So partially decomposed food is present in the soil, and that food is further acted upon by bacteria, and they convert it into simple inorganic substances, and these substances are then taken up by the bacteria. So soil is full of saprotrophic bacteria. जी, उर्दू में भी बता दूंगी मैं आपको। सिंपल अंग्रेज़ी है, बिल्कुल सिंपल जुमले हैं, और आपने जवाब भी अंग्रेज़ी में ही देना है। कुछ लोगों को, जो बच्चे उर्दू में, अगर उनका मीडियम ऑफ आंसर होगा तो साथ साथ मैं करती जाऊंगी। सो बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल इंग्लिश नहीं है, सिंपल सेंटेंसेस हैं, तो थोड़ा सा आप कूप अप कीजिए इस चीज़ को। digestion takes place with the help of enzymes, as we were discussing on this. So saprotrophic bacteria digest these dead organic material into simple inorganic ones and then make use of that material for their metabolism. So majority of bacteria are saprotrophic bacteria, and these bacteria also cause the decay of plants and animal material, that is the dead bodies of plants and dead bodies of animals and their organic material. So bacteria come on the next page, that is the second category of heterotrophic bacteria, symbiotic bacteria. These symbiotic bacteria, as you know, are the symbionts. And you know who is symbiont? Symbiont is an association between two organisms for mutual benefit. That is, दोनों बाहिमी तौर पे एक दूसरे को फायदा देते हैं, और one gets benefit without harming the other, और एक को फायदा होता है दूसरे को नहीं होता. So that is the organism with which these bacteria are living, that is not harmed by the presence of bacteria. So symbiotic bacteria are of many kinds, and they live within क्या हुआ? अभी during the lecture नहीं disturb. Okay, so symbiotic bacteria are the ones which live with other organisms for their mutual benefit. So bacteria are the ones who are getting the benefit, and sometimes they also give benefit to the organism with which they are living. So that becomes mutual benefit for the two. So organisms, as you know, there are some bacteria which live in the roots of leguminous plants. And remember, leguminous family मैंने आपको करवाई है, उसकी दो मैंने सब क्लासेस करवाई थी, वो फैमिली जिसमें लेग्यूम होता है, फली होती है. सो लेग्यूमिनस फैमिली में उनकी रूट्स के अंदर बैक्टीरिया लिव्स रहते हैं, एंड देन दे मेक नोड्यूल्स ओवर देयर इन विच जो सोलन पार्ट्स होते हैं रूट्स में, वहाँ पे वो रह रहे होते हैं सोलन पार्ट्स बना के. सो दे आर द वंस विच आर हेल्पिंग द प्लांट टू गेट inorganic substances and from the soil, and they fix nitrogen, and in return they get ready-made food from the plant body. So both are giving benefit to one another. You will see that in your book and in the notes which I am showing you, you will find two names. One is Piscium sativum, that is the name of pea plant, and you know this Piscium sativum was the one which was used by Mendel also in his experiments. And the name of the bacterium which lives in the roots of Piscium sativum, मटर के पौधे की जड़ में जो रहता है, that is the Rhizobium radicola. So you will find that I have underlined the names because these are scientific names. Always take care of writing the scientific names whenever you are writing them with your hand. You have to underline them half. Now next, the third category of heterotrophic bacteria comes, and this is a parasitic bacteria. And parasitic bacteria are, as the name indicates, that they are the parasites. And you know, a parasite is an organism which lives on another organism, that is the living one, and it lives either within the tissue or outside the tissue, but it is living with the another living organism, and it is not benefiting the organism. Instead, it is harming the organism. So the parasite gives harm to the host with which it is living. So this kind of relationship is called as parasitism. And bacteria in this condition, they are giving harm to the host. And why bacteria are living with the other living organisms, that these bacteria lack some enzymes due to which they are not able to make their food. So they depend on a ready-made food from a host. So in doing so, that is they are harming the organism with which they are living. Like a name of bacterium, Pneumococcus is written as an example of parasitic bacteria. So coccus, recall that in the previous topic I told you rounded bacteria, and this is one of the name of a parasitic bacteria. So you will come across many kinds of bacteria in the names of bacteria. in the next topics. So this was about heterotrophic nutrition in bacteria. So three categories I have discussed, that is the saprotrophic, symbiotic bacteria, and the third one is parasitic bacteria. Now comes the turn of autotrophic bacteria. So as I previously told you, that autotrophs are the ones which can make their own food from simple inorganic substances. So these bacteria are further classified into two categories: photosynthetic bacteria and chemosynthetic bacteria. So you are very familiar with photosynthesis, that is the process in which the source of energy is light. So bacteria are also photosynthetic. They synthesize their organic food, organic substances, by using light energy into from the simple inorganic substances. So their chlorophyll is similar to they have a special kind of chlorophyll which is present in them, and because of being prokaryotic, this is not a chloroplast, because double membrane bounded organelles are absent in them. This is a special kind of chlorophyll called as bacteriochlorophyll, or chlorobium chlorophyll. So a short question can come like this: name the chlorophyll found in bacteria. So it is also called as chlorobium chlorophyll or bacteriochlorophyll, because double membrane bounded organelles, chloroplasts, are absent in them. So this is the pigment which make use of the light energy and convert it into chemical energy in the form of food. So these autotrophic photosynthetic bacteria are the ones which are making use of the light energy. So you know that invaginated plasma membrane is present in the um, um, this chlorobium is present on invaginated plasma membrane. Invagination, as I told you previously, whenever the cell membranes goes inward in the cytoplasm in the bacteria, and on this membrane, that is, this is not an organelle, this is a membranous structure, and chlorophyll, bacteriochlorophyll are found in that membrane. So you will find an equation where you will find that the reactants of the equation, that is carbon dioxide and H2S, hydrogen sulfide. Usually we write in the equation of photosynthesis water instead of H2S. But in bacteria, they are not making use of water as a source of hydrogen. They are making use of sulfur. So that is, they use hydrogen sulfide as a reactant, and with the help of carbon dioxide and these bacteriochlorophylls, with the help of light, they convert it into a carbohydrate, which is written CH2O whole N. This is a carbohydrate unit. And you will see that water is released in the products, and instead of oxygen, what is released, that is sulfur is released. So why bacteria are releasing sulfur? Because they are not making use of water molecule in their photosynthesis. They are making use of hydrogen sulfide, so they release sulfur instead of oxygen. So a question can come like this: does photosynthetic bacteria release oxygen? So your answer will certainly be no. Then they can ask which gas is released in photosynthetic bacteria, that is the sulfur, because they are making use of hydrogen sulfide and releasing sulfur instead of oxygen. I'm repeating the things again and again to for your facilitation. So please study the topic in the book as well. I'm making it very easy for you. Your cooperation will be required for better understanding. Yes, Alishba is asking what is parasitic bacteria. Beta, this is a very simple thing. You know, parasites are those organisms which are not able to make their food. They live with other living organisms in their tissues to get food. So they cause harm to the organism, They can cause disease, they can get give harm to the organism. So they are the parasites. So all bacteria are not parasites. There are some bacteria which are parasites. Some live as symbionts, some live as saprotrophs, and some are autotrophs, as we were discussing all this. So now comes to the photosynthetic bacteria. As This is almost concluded photosynthetic, that they release sulfur instead of oxygen. The last topic of who is there? Why bacteria consume sulfur? Yes, bacteria, they are not they have a chemistry like that, that they cannot make use of water. So they make use of this hydrogen sulfide as a as a source of hydrogen. So in doing so, that is, they are releasing this sulfur and not oxygen. So you will find in kingdom prokaryotes, cyanobacteria release oxygen, but these bacteria release sulfur. So there are variety around us, and sometimes the mechanism, going into the mechanism why they are doing so, that becomes beyond our limit of textbooks, and sometimes it becomes very difficult to describe it in a short time. So you will study these various mechanisms in other classes. So come to the chemosynthetic bacteria. These bacteria are the ones which get energy from oxidation of simple inorganic molecules or compounds. Like you will see that I have given two equations. The first equation, you will see that hydrogen sulfide is there plus oxygen. So hydrogen sulfide, that is oxidized with the help of oxygen, and they release sulfur, water as a product, and they release energy. This energy is then incorporated into the chemical reaction, where carbon dioxide is fixed into carbohydrate with the help of hydrogen sulfide. Beta, I can give you some names. Photosynthetic bacteria are of many kinds, but this will be beyond your text. First, look into the text, look into the syllabus which is given to you. Whenever we will come in our regular classes, we will discuss whatever we have left unanswered. But this will be beyond your syllabus. So don't go into it. Just make notes on it, as I have given you a layout. So what I'm telling you, that for you will not be asked about photosynthetic bacteria. Give them examples, because questions always come from the textbook, and anything beyond this is not coming in your question paper. So whatever is here, you have to study first that, then you can get information by coming on okay. First, listen, बीच में questions मुझे मत दिखाया करो. So I was discussing about chemosynthetic bacteria. These chemosynthetic bacteria, I have given the definition. As you will see, that these bacteria first oxidize some inorganic substances like iron, hydrogen, nitrogen, and sulfur compounds. And then in these reactions, the energy released is used to be incorporated in the fixation of carbon dioxide into carbohydrate, where again you will see that hydrogen sulfide is there as a source of hydrogen. So a carbohydrate, CH2O whole n, you will see that this is the unit of carbohydrate, and sulfur and water are again released. So these chemosynthetic bacteria are not using light as a source of energy. They are using the energy obtained from the oxidation of some inorganic substances. So this was all about the nutrition of bacteria. Now comes a very a simple topic, that is the respiration in bacteria. Again, you will see that bacteria are classified on the basis of the need of oxygen. Some bacteria which need oxygen, that is presence of oxygen is necessary for them, they are called as aerobes, and the ones which do not need oxygen's present and they can respire in the absence of oxygen, they are called as anaerobes. This is a again very basic classification of aerobes and anaerobes. So respiration is the property of living organisms, and aerobes are the ones which need oxygen, and anaerobes are the ones which live without oxygen. So these two broad categories of bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic, are further classified. You will see that aerobic bacteria can be obligate aerobes, they can be facultative aerobes, they can be microaerophilics. Obligate, as the name indicated, there is an obligation on them that they will survive only in the presence of oxygen, while facultative aerobes are the ones which respire with or without oxygen. They have both faculties. If oxygen is present, they can be aerobes, and if oxygen is not present, they can switch over to the anaerobic respiration. So they can survive in both conditions. There is a third category of aerobic bacteria, microaerophilics. These require very low concentration of oxygen for their growth, so they can survive in a low concentration. While anaerobic bacteria, you will find I have classified it into two categories: obligate anaerobes and facultative anaerobes. Name again, obligate means obligation है, फर्ज है उन पे कि that they will live only in the absence of oxygen. Otherwise, if oxygen is present in their environment, they will die. Like the waterlogged soil, वो ज़मीन जिसमें पानी सेम ज़्यादा ज़मीन होती है, वहाँ पे सॉइल के अंदर पोर्स नहीं होती वाटर की वजह से, कि वाटर बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, तो वहाँ पे ऑक्सीजन नहीं मिलती। उस किस्म की सॉइल में, जो वाटर लॉक्ड सॉइल होती है, वहाँ पे आपको ये ऑब्लिगेट एनारोब्स मिल जाएंगे। एंड देन द सेकंड कैटेगरी ऑफ एनारोब्स इज फैकल्टेटिव। अगेन वही फैकल्टी है, आइदर दे विल जॉइन the faculty of aerobic bacteria or anaerobic bacteria. If oxygen is present, then they are aerobic anaerobes, or if oxygen is absent, then they are facultative anaerobes. So this was all about nutrition in bacteria and respiration in bacteria. And I will show you some diagrams of bacteria. डेफिनेशन मैंने केमोसिंथेटिक बैक्टीरिया की बिल्कुल सामने लिखी हुई है, उस केमोसिंथेटिक पेज लेकर आना। केमोसिंथेटिक बैक्टीरिया में आपको बिल्कुल वाज़ेह डेफिनेशन नज़र आएगी। यही डेफिनेशन है कि ये बैक्टीरिया वो होते हैं जो पहले किसी इनऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंस को ऑक्सीडाइज करते हैं, और इस ऑक्सीडेशन में आपको पता है एनर्जी रिलीज़ होती है। वो एनर्जी जो रिलीज़ हुई है फिर उसको वो इस्तेमाल करते हैं किस में, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को फिक्स करने में इनटू कार्बोहाइड्रेट। सो एनर्जी ये लाइट से नहीं लेते, बल्कि ये ऑक्सीडेशन ऑफ इनऑर्गेनिक सब्सटेंसेस से हासिल की हुई एनर्जी को इस्तेमाल करते हैं। So this is the definition. Follow your book as well. The definitions are also given over there. This is a layout, simple layout I have given you. I will show you some diagrams of bacteria. So you will see this diagram. खोलो बेटा माइक। अच्छा, so I'm showing you some of the diagrams of bacteria. ये अभी हटा दीजिए ये वाली फिगर, पीछे वाली लाइन। So you will see yes, you will see a figure on your screen that is color rod shaped bacterium is there. blue color rod-shaped bacterium is there. Rod-shaped bacterium are bacilli, and you will find green color tadpole-like structures, green structures. They are attached with the outer wall of the bacteria. These are viruses which attack on bacteria, and you can compare the size of virus and bacteria. That is, bacteria are larger than viruses and viruses are smaller than them, and these are the viruses which attack on bacteria. So come to the next figure. This is about binary fission of bacteria, which I will discuss in a separate topic of asexual reproduction in bacteria. Um, this is again a rod-shaped bacterium with a single flagella, and you can see its nucleoid region also, where the double-stranded DNA molecule is shown. And next figure, enlarge it. So you will find this is another diagram of bacterium, where this is similar to the one mentioned in your book, where you will find a long tail-like structure, that is the flagellum, the pili, and these pili, you will find there are many coming out from the surface. Pili are smaller than flagella. Pili are not meant for locomotion. Then you will see there is a cell wall, and then cell wall is yellow, and outer to the cell wall is a capsule, and then inner to the cell wall you will find the plasma membrane. Then blue color cytoplasm is shown, and then the genetic material nucleoid, which is a DNA molecule that is shown. And you can find the structures like ribosomes, the plasmids within the cytoplasm. So I think so this is over. My time is getting up. Um, do you have questions? Miss, flagella is used for movement. Yes, flagella is used for movement. What does pili do? I have mentioned the work of pili in the previous topic. That is, they are involved in sexual reproduction. That is the conjugation. They are not meant for locomotion. Any other question? नहीं, आगे नहीं करना अभी. क्या है? What is this? Miss, can you please tell me the topics we studied today? What is this, beta? Nimra? Huh? You have joined late. I have recorded my lecture. I will send you the recording, so you can get the recording of my lecture if you have joined quite late. So this was the second lecture. I hope